Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Wednesday, October 19th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. I'm super excited for our hot special guest today. He is a fresh new face, and he's been in the modeling game for a minute, and I'm super excited to have him here. I hope you guys are loving today's look. Happy Wisdom Wednesday, y'all. I'm super excited, and without further ado, let's welcome our handsome, hot special guest, Dion Whitt. I'm super excited. Make sure you guys share the live Fashion Dolls. I'm so excited for this interview. All right, so let me go ahead and share this and get everyone on up in here. And tomorrow, make sure you guys tune in 6:30 for the greatest R&B music panel. We're going to be debating on the best and speaking on our favorite R&B music albums from each collaboration. So make sure you guys tune in for that tomorrow with my brother K Tukes and Jay Evans. I'm so excited. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our special guest, Mr. Dion Witt. Hello, hello.
How you doing? How you doing?
Fabulous. Welcome to the Dollhouse, handsome.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
It's so great to have you here. So let's start this interview off with finding out how's your 2022 been thus far because it's been some ups and downs with this pandemic and now this new variant. Do I detect the New York accent? Are you in the New York area?
A- Absolutely. I'm New York City, Bronx bred.
I can tell, and you already know what's up, what happened in New
Of
York with the
course.
shutdowns and everything. And I have family there, so that's why I could easily pick up on your accent. So, how's your
Right.
2022 been thus far?
It's been crazy. It's been, of course, up and down. You know, as with I'm sure so many other people have been experiencing a lot of whether positive notes, negative notes, or what have you. But for me, honestly, it's been like I said, up and down. But I think up and down in a good way, if that makes any sense. I've been the busiest I've ever been in my entire life, which is always a blessing. I praise God for that. I knock on wood for that. But I think I attest that to always keeping myself busy, keeping myself in, current. Um, and, I'm a hustler by nature. So I think I will continue doing that. I have a career job by day, which is always a juggle for me to sort of balance what I do by day, sort of like a superhero. I work in education by day, ironically, and then, I do my modeling stuff on the side. So it's an insane juggle trying to balance stuff like that. Um, I came out with my first modeling lookbook, um, and I was pretty proud of it. I'm actually working on actually writing a book, hopefully having that slated to come out next year. So I'm really excited about that, and it's going to be about male body image issues that I suffered from for so many years, and it's going to be some pictures in there, but it's going to be more about the audience getting to know me on a completely different level, and I think it's my whole goal is to help someone else, and I still enjoy doing my artistic pictures. Because again, it's something that I enjoy too. That I take pride in. I've learned to love myself, not just physically, but also from inside. And I think the more I love myself from inside, and the more I work on myself from inside, it sort of translates onto like the physical appearance. And I think that's important. So I think I definitely want to sort of push the envelope a little more, just because you only live once, and my mother, God rest her soul, wouldn't want me to do it any other way, and that's what I'll continue to do. So yeah, so this past year has been, like I said, a lot of changing, but a lot of me just moving so fast, and just trying to do so many different things at one time, which is a blessing, of course.
You touched on a lot just in that from describing your 2022. And we'll get to that. For you as a model, well, we consider you as a sex symbol. Do you consider yourself as a sex symbol?
In no way, shape, or form.
Well, we see the
Oh,
beauty within, the beauty without, but knowing what you go through, because I've interviewed so many models, so many fashion designers, beauty influencers here on my
right.
platform, and sitting down with models, we don't know what they go through behind the scenes, what they're feeling on the inside. So I'm
Right.
glad you touched on it from a male perspective because it's easy for like
Absolutely.
Naomi Campbell's, the Tyra Banks, and so many others to touch on what goes on behind the scenes in the fashion industry and fashion shows and so many things. Because in this industry, it's about beauty, and me
Right.
realizing that and knowing that and getting into this fashion and beauty industry, it's about
Hmm.
image. Everything is about image. Everything has to be glamorous. It has to be beautiful. It has to be perfection, and that puts a lot of pressure on people. So for you, the male perspective, because I know you go home and it's a lot. It's just like, wow. When you go home from a photo shoot, what
Right.
runs through your mind?
Um, Ironically, it it can range anywhere between being so elated, whether I had a great shoot or not, or from me having a lot of self doubt. You know what I mean? Because again, it's a lot of competition, and I'm Caribbean. I'm Jamaican and Irish, and my father would always tell me, still tells me, you have to have 5 jobs, and you have to hustle, and you got to do this, you got to do that, and but I'm my own worst critic, obviously. So I'm always trying to, and not just that, not to ramble on, but I'm also, I'm not 21 years old any longer. I'm not 19. I'm a well seasoned grown man, and I'm competing with dudes that are like 20 years, sometimes my junior. And of course, self doubt goes in my head, like, something, should I be doing this? Should I continue doing this? Did I do a good job? Did I really push the envelope the way in which I envisioned myself pushing that envelope? Is it worth it? Will people take me seriously? Will I have the negative comments, the positive, like all those thoughts run through my head for like, I want to say maybe 5 minutes, literally. And then I just stop. I'm like, so what? It's going to run through my head. There are going to be people out there who's not going to like my work. I used to, do photo shoots and worry about how many followers I'm going to get. I'm constantly posting as you can see, and not because I'm trying to rub anything in anyone's face, but I'm damn proud of what the fuck I do. You know what I mean? Like I put in the freaking work. I'm up 5 o'clock in the morning, working out 6 days a damn week, going to the gym, coming home, going to work, dealing with the stresses of working within education, which is its own beast. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the inner city. I work in the South Bronx. I do not work in like in a well seasoned area. I work with high school students. I love it. They all know what I do. I think it's amazing because I'm always trying to empower them, but it's always something in which, it's a struggle and it's not easy. I go home, I deal with a lot of stresses of just being from New York City and dealing with New York City and dealing with everything that goes on within New York City, working in the drug infested area, stuff like that. So it's not an easy thing to sort of, occupy my mind. But what keeps so like yeah, so like I said, I go through that process of of it for like maybe 5 minutes, and then after that I'm like, at the end of the day, as long as I'm pleasing myself, that's all I really care about. Of course I do care about, you know, the fan base, and I want people to really understand what I do and appreciate. But at the end of the day, I can't live my life worrying about who's going to understand me and who's not. The whole goal is to have someone sit there and say, something, I saw what you try to do. Kudos to you. That means a lot, of course. But at the end of the day, I think I'm more concerned with whether or not what Dion knows and what Dion wants and how Dion feels. And the self doubt, we all want to go through that. But as long as it doesn't fester so much and overcompensate my whole mindset, I'm good to go.
You touched on something that really, really, he froze up on us, ladies and gentlemen.
Am I there? My back?
You went out for a minute.
Okay. How about now?
Okay, he's coming back in. Okay, you're coming back. I see you now. Okay. You
Okay.
touched on something that was very, very pivotal. And I said, ding, light bulb, because I just talked about this yesterday with my previous guest, which was Reggie Gaskins. And Reggie Gaskins has worked alongside Ice Cube and
I heard of him.
Natalie Gazelle and Eve and so many others. We touched on ageism. You said something about, these younger models that are coming out in the modeling industry. There is a thing because if I'm not mistaken, Kate Moss and Christy Turlington and so many other the girls that started off in the that era, the supermodel era, all came out at a young age. Naomi Campbell and so many, they all came out at like 14, 16 years old. And then as you're in the industry, you progress. So it definitely is ageism in the modeling industry. So I'm glad that you,
Absolutely.
as a black man, as a black male model, you touched on that because that goes on even in the music industry and the entertainment business is like shelf life. Okay, you need to stop modeling and you need to stop rapping at this age. And it's
Right.
just like it's never too late. And that's something that Reggie said yesterday on yesterday's show. Because one of my audience members asked him that, like, when is it ever too late to pursue a career in the music industry?
Right.
Is 60 too late? He said, no, go for your heart's
Hmm.
and desires. So for ageism, that was my next question for you. Ageism, how do you feel about
Well, when I started, and mind you, I started like I never really tell my age, and I think I'm
it?
at
You
a
don't
point
have
now
to,
where, which,
baby.
yeah, no, but I was at a point where, I felt some type of way about it, to
Yeah.
keep it completely 100, and when I started in this industry, I started much later in life, and I always doubted myself. I always thought that it can never be possible. I can never, take pictures. I wasn't good enough. I was too short. I was too fat. I was always, it was always something that I wasn't in my head that prevented myself from doing that. And when I started, I would always lie about my age because it worked. People believed me, and I felt as though that was the only way for me to get any gig. Like if I used to go to gigs for like MTV for like dance party shows and
Really?
stuff for like talk show. Oh yeah, stuff for like talk shows and videos and stuff like that. And I looked younger. If they needed someone who looked partly Latin or half white, half black, or who was like 18 or 19 at the time, and if I would look 19 or 18, that's me, even though I wasn't, you know what I mean? But then it stuck with me so much until I worked with this particular photographer who actually flew me out to Puerto Rico, and um, amazing photo shoot. But we had such a great connection, and he was telling me, he goes, you know something? He goes, your age is your virtue. You should celebrate it. It can probably empower someone else who's probably your age or maybe even older who has those same or had those same thought that I did or I have. And I'm like, something, I really didn't look at it so intensely. And I'm like, wow, maybe I should try that. And it wasn't more because I was trying to like, brand myself in a particular way. That was like maybe a third of it. But I think the main thing was for me to feel comfortable and confident in who I was and what I was. I can't, there's no way, I mean, I could lie about anything. At the end of the day, you still are what you are, right? So I can sit there and say, oh yeah, well, I'm 31, 32, or 29. But at the end of the day, no, you're not. So I can lie about it, but I have to face facts. And when I started just to appreciate who I was and what I am and what I do, then the age became a non-factor, and it became something where in which, something, if someone doesn't want me because I'm older, it's all good, but there'll be someone out there who will want me because I am older.
And I'm so glad that you touched on that because there's so many models, like designers like I think it was Tommy Hilfiger and Balmain and Versace, so many others. What I love is that they brought models like the Naomi Campbell, so many others out, the 90s girls out in
Right.
that bought them out with the current models like the GGs and so many others and showcase that there's models at every age. And you mentioned height. Height was a big requirement back in the
Hmm.
90s in the modeling as well. Too. You would go to go see, excuse me,
Right.
they would want models at a certain height. You couldn't be, I'm 5'7".
Right.
I'm 5'7", so I couldn't do it. But they would want models to be a certain shape. They would want to be want to have models a certain height. And
Hmm.
nowadays in 2022, I love it so much because now in the days of Instagram, where things have changed so much from then in the 90s to now,
Right.
where you have models that are up and coming like the Winnie Harlows, the Gigi Hadids, and so
Right.
many others, where height is not even an issue. Your body type is not even an issue. And you touched on a number of things, so it was sort of like a loaded
Right.
response to everything that I was asking you. And you hit the nails right on the head. So to hear it from a black man talking about experiences that he has experienced with body image and so many things,
Right.
because so many people think it's just women that we go
Oh
through it with
no.
body image.
Mm-mm.
No, men go through it too. So I'm so
It's a
glad that
hidden,
you
yeah.
went off of that.
It's definitely like a hidden, to me, a hidden issue, and I think it's a gigantic issue because even when I do gigs now, again, I'm surrounded by people so much younger than me, and I'll get that whole thing of, wow, you must can eat anything and this, that, and the third, and you must have no, and I sit back, I'm like, if only you knew. Everyone has their own struggle. Everyone, you know, people always assume, of course, modeling is very superficial. I get it. I'm a superficial person at times, and I love that. But I love the positive aspects about it being superficial as opposed to the negative, because I'm not doing anything to put anyone else down. You know, it's all about me. It's not about anyone else. So if I choose to take a picture, a nude picture, if I choose to take a 1,500 gym pictures, that's my business. I'm not doing that to knock anyone else, saying, hey, don't look at such and such page, focus on me. People have options. They can either not follow me or follow me. You know what I'm saying? So it always boggles my mind on how people just perceive so much, but not really understand that everyone has their own struggles. Yes, I still have a issue with food. I still go through things in which, damn, I should have ate that yesterday, and I have to
Right.
fight it. It's a daily fight for me. You know what I mean? I didn't go to therapy. I was back in the days. I used to be against therapy. I'm like, well, what can a stranger tell me that I don't already know? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a strong, typical Caribbean male trait that, we sometimes we don't want to seek out help. And sometimes it's good to talk to just someone completely anonymous in what you're going through, just to get yourself,
Right.
just to get those issues out. Sometimes hearing it can be therapy, as opposed to someone telling you something medically, or diagnose you with some medical term. I just want to just vent to somebody, just someone to just have an open ear and just hear me out. That's it. I don't even want to comment sometimes, but I still go through my struggles every single day. They may not be as intense as they used to be back in the days, but they're still there. And I think they always will be with me. But I think it's a good thing now, because I feel as though that I have a different handle on it. And I my way of dealing with it is through the modeling, ironically. My first time posing nude, ironically, I felt like I was on a roller coaster. And, again, perception. People assumed, oh, you must like being naked and this, that, and the third. I said, you have no idea why I did what I did. And you have no idea why I enjoyed what I did and the feeling that I got from it. To me, it was very liberating to me to fully be exposed. Whereas when I couldn't even expose myself in front of myself, because I would critique it so much and I felt embarrassed.
Mm.
So for me to get over that, and to be in a setting where in which I had over 50 people, men at that, in an audience, seeing me exposed, it was like, wow, I just overcome something that I never thought that I can ever do in life. If I couldn't do it and I did it, and I wanted to do it again and again and again. And it had nothing to do with sitting there and being glorified or being gawked at or thinking that I'm the shit. No, it was a liberating experience for myself. And of course, translated onto, okay, well, this is something cool that one, I can make money out of. Number two, I think I'm pretty good at. But it was so much. That was my therapy. If that makes any sense, that was definitely my therapy.
And it's liberating because we're now in a day and age where it's about body positivity and
Right.
appreciating everything that God has blessed you with from top to bottom. Everybody's going out here and getting all of these surgeries and so many
Mm-hmm.
things. But for you as a model, you already get the backhand of the stick, with all
Right.
of this criticism. And one thing you also said I'm gonna touch on as well too, because I do it myself. I even go back and watch some of my interviews, and I kind of beat myself up. I'm my own worst critic. You said that.
Of
I'm
course.
my
Mm-hmm.
own worst critic, and that's from a lot of artists, whether it's from models or what I do, talk shows or whatever. We always find something to point out, and people will just be like, "No, you did awesome. You need to stop being so critical of yourself
Right.
and beating yourself up." But that's the professionalism and the
Of course.
perfectionism in us, where we want the craft, whatever project that we're delivering, to come out beautifully. And
Mm-hmm.
I like to call it the Beyonce mentality, because
I'm
notice
glad you
when,
said it and I didn't say it. I was about to.
yes, notice when Beyonce gives us an album or a project, it comes out and is absolutely immaculate. Like she just gave
Mm-hmm.
us Renaissance, and
Right.
everyone is raving and talking about it because she put in all of this work throughout these years. We had no idea until it
No
was brought
idea.
to us in 2022, and then she
Right.
gave us collaborations with T.S. Madison. And we wasn't expecting that, and so many others. So it's like you have to work behind the scenes to get this perfection that everyone is talking about. Not
Absolutely.
everything is what you see. It takes a lot of hard work. And as a
Oh yeah.
content creator, we definitely can appreciate that. So,
Of
yeah,
course.
you're
And
not
we're
the
always
only
pushing
one.
our,
Yeah,
yes, and we
go ahead.
always push it. Like I always push myself. I would say I was ironically you said. I mean, ironically, you hear me? And I'm an English major. Go at that. No, but funny you said that. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and she was asking me. She's like, so like, what do you want to do next? And as much as I love taking pictures and everything like that, I was stuck because I'm in a place of my life now where in which okay, I can do photo shoots. Yes, I've done photo. I've been modeling for 11 years straight, consistently, no
Wow.
breaks, no nothing. And why? And it's been seamless because, and it's been such a beautiful journey. I can't even describe it, because to do something as a passion for such a long time without having any type of end result, because I never put up a result saying, okay, well, I'm doing this until for 5 years, and then I'm going to move on to this, that, and the third. It was like I would do interviews in the past, and people would ask me, so what's your what's your ultimate motive? I'm like, to continue doing what I'm doing, and whatever transcends from that, I will go with it. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, this whole industry, it's like it's like the yellow brick road. You never know what's going to be on the other side of that road. You know what I'm saying? You never know who you can meet, and that person that you can meet can open up another avenue for you that you probably was in the back of your head, but maybe it wasn't highlighted. You know what I mean? I've now I want to come out like with my own underwear line. And possibly a fitness line. I never thought about that 2 years ago, but now I want to. It's just it's so ever changing and so evolving that I don't want to limit myself and sit there and give myself like sort of like a final point saying, okay, I'm gonna do this until then. I'm gonna do this until my body, my mind, my soul says stop. And right now it's saying keep pushing, regardless. I don't worry about the next man. You know what I'm saying? I have to worry about Dion and what Dion wants to do, and keep pushing myself. And I'm, if I feel good, then I'll continue doing it. And as of now, there's nothing, that I would consider myself stopping for, because I still love it, and in every capacity. Whether it's doing a fashion show, whether it's doing a commercial ad. I even got into freaking catering. Where they hire like caterers and bartenders who are models to do events, and I met some amazing people. I did Gucci's summer party recently. I did Lin Manuel's wife's private birthday party. Met Nas. Like it's you. This industry, I never know what I'm gonna
Yeah.
be put up against or put in, but I'm open to every single possibility, and that's what I tell my students. I'm like, something. If you want to, most people are asked like, oh, so after high school, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna do this, that, and the third. Yeah, I've been there, done that. I did it. I'm a college graduate. You know what I'm saying? Um, but at the end of the day, I tell my students, you do. If college is not for you, it's not for you. I said, but always have options and don't limit yourself. If you want to sit up there and twirl a freaking pen, make sure you're the best damn ass pen twirler in the whole fucking world. If that's what you want to do, you know what I'm saying? Perfect that pen. Twirl pins around all your fingers and your toes. If that's the case, I'm sorry to use that as an analogy, but it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So I want to continue just being myself and pushing myself and not being afraid to sit there and say, hey, maybe I do want to go and do a photo shoot on the bridge, on a tightrope. I don't know. If that's what I want to do, yeah, maybe I do want to go wear this crop top shirt. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to get typecast as being that type of model or being a gay model and being this, that, and the third, because people do typecast you. I've been to so many fashion shows, they thought I was a stripper. They're like, oh, so you dance, right? I'm like, yeah, well, I'll dance at a club if I go out, but I'm not a Janet Jackson dancer, if that's what you mean. No, but you're a stripper, right? No. Even Wendy Williams thought I was a stripper when I did her show, and they booked me to be the dude to take off his shirt. So I'm like, I was all for it because I thought it was a great opportunity. Then when I met her backstage and we started talking, she goes, well, you're a stripper, right? I'm like, no, because my paperwork clearly does not say that I'm a stripper. So where would you assume that I'm a stripper? Oh, I get it. Perception, right? So I try to break that because I don't want to be typecasted. I don't typecast people. I feel that people shouldn't typecast me, but that's a part of the game and that's part of the business. But every time I do, I love to put. I don't want to say put people in their place, but sort of correct them. No, yeah, no, I'm not. And no shade strippers. I know, you know what I'm saying? I'm just using that as an example of, you can never judge anyone by their cover, but this industry can always bring certain things out where which people will typecast you and will label you and just assume, well, if I pose nude, then automatically I'll get hit up by a particular photographer. Well, you love posing nude, don't you? Yeah, I love posing nudes for that photographer. Doesn't mean I'm gonna pose nudes for you. So it's a lot, but at the end of the day, it still keeps me wanting to do it because it's something that will never deter me. If anything, it's gonna make me push even harder.
And we kind of touched on this in our interview yesterday again as well also. where we talked about typecasting. Even in the acting world, it was Leslie Jones. She said something
Mm,
about, they always want black actors to play certain specific
of
roles.
course.
And it's either the criminal or, the baby mama. Or it's different. Let me rephrase that. The mother of the children.
Right,
Different
right,
things
right,
like that. They want to put you in a category. And your pictures that you give us are erotic. They're sensual. It's art. It's photography. And I've interviewed models, male models who've done that type of photography where it's erotic and it's sensual. It's art. It's literally art. I don't see
right.
anything wrong with it. And as far as shaming models who do erotic modeling or things like that or body art, I have no problem with it because I've interviewed those type of models. And I've
Right.
interviewed and you just need to stop shaming the erotic models and sex workers out here because
Mm-hmm.
there is a stigma that comes behind it. Oh well, you only do this type of modeling. It's just like
Right.
no, I'm capable of doing so much more. And you've given us that from what I've
Right.
seen on your Instagram. It's art, it's beauty, it's everything
Thank you.
about
Thank
the
you. Thank
male
you so
physique.
kindly.
And even if you look through some of the calendars, like there's a whole calendar with male physique where the photography is just immaculate and beautiful.
Right.
So it's sensual, it's tasteful to the eye,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not pornography.
Right. And even, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I've been asked to do everything from eat a banana with freaking a squirrel. Just saying, you know what I'm saying? I always had that adage of, you live once in life, man. And if my mind says, yes, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it at the end of the day and not even care about, I'm going to have a comment, whether positive or negative, regardless anyway. That's just a part of life. People are going to have something to say. People are not going to like it, or they're going to be opinionated or not opinionated, or, haters or congratulators. It's whatever. I'm still doing me. I know I can put out dope work, at the end of the day because I put in a lot of work to make that work dope. I don't sit up here and rest on, well, I don't have to work. Like if I know I have a shoot coming up and it's a particular type of shoot where in which I'm going to be, a little more exposed and what have you, then I'm going to put in the work. If I went from everything. I mean, one time I had gotten booked for a shoot with a photographer that I've been dying to shoot with for like so many years. And he only shot a particular type of guy and a particular color type guy at that. I never saw a guy like me. You know what I'm saying? Like yes, I'm a man of color, but I'm a different type of man of color. You have some photographers who will only shoot a darker skin, chiseled muscle guy. I didn't see like an urban dude from the Bronx, a hood dude type of dude who went to Catholic school, mind you, who has an education, but I didn't see someone like me. And I'm like, but I want to do that. And I know I can kill it. So after months of trying, like I wouldn't say, well, not even months, like maybe 2 years of like sending emails, being that courteous person, the photographer finally hit me up and he's like, I've seen some of your work. He goes, I would love to work with you. So he goes, can you send me some shots of yourself, of your body, of how you look currently? And I'm like, oh shit. So I started getting scared. I'm like, oh fuck. Well, at the end of the day, he's asking for it. This is my opportunity. Can't turn him down. Can't say no. So I sent him pictures, and he was willing to shoot me as I like the way I looked currently. And I'm like, no. He goes, no. He goes, I'm booking your flight now. With like a whole like 4-day shoot where in which I stood at his place. He was he's an amazing person. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I said, give me 2 months. Because what I wanted to do, even though he was comfortable in what I look like currently, I wasn't. Because I've said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to make sure I do the damn thing. And I wanted to look a particular way. So I said, give me 2 months if you don't mind. I said, but if not, then I'm willing to come out there whenever if you want me to come out there now, then I can make arrangements. He goes, no, no, no. He goes, I like that you said that. I'll give you 2 months. We set up a date for 2 months. Within 2 months, I changed my diet completely. I revamped my complete workout, something I've never done in life. I was on a strict diet, a low carb diet. It was insane what I was doing, but all healthy at the end of the day. I took no supplements. I went to bed at a particular time. I made sure that I conditioned my mind and my body. I felt very robotic, and that was one of the first times that I ever put myself to that physical regimented test. And then within 2 months, I was ready to go. And when I saw the pictures back, and mind you, his shoots, the reason why I did it, I think what benefited me, his shoots were like 12-hour shoots each day. So it wasn't like I was, do a 2 hour photo shoot, and then good, I'm done, and then wake up the next morning and do another 2 hour photo shoot. No, he put me to work. I was in poses that were strenuous on my back, were strenuous on my calves, were strenuous just from my mindset, just alone to hold a pose for a particular time and and not struggle with it. It's not an easy thing. But what helped me out.
There
How
you
about
are.
now?
You
You hear
got
me?
you got a
Oh,
phone call.
sorry.
Yeah, it knocked you
Yes.
out. Hmm.
Yeah. So because of my nude modeling for the artistic artist, I was able, like, so sometimes I'm in poses for like 3 hours. Not the same pose, but I have to sort of hold my,
Rotate. Yeah.
yeah, so I have to like hold the pose for like 20 minutes, maybe six different poses or eight different poses, some for a half an hour. So that helped me concentrate. So when I'm normally doing that, I have to be in full concentration. Like, I normally think about food. That's the only thing that sort of keeps me going. So, but that helped me out in terms of this photo shoot. Then when I saw the pictures back,
There you are.
yeah, I'm
You're back.
sorry. So stuff like that, it sort of, pushes me to always want to give everything 115,000% as opposed to just rest on, okay, I'm good. No, I want to be better than good, if need be, or if I can.
Absolutely. And another thing, you touched on something I need to make sure that my mental, for you as a model, what
Hmm.
runs through your mind mentally after doing these shots? Because you said standing in these poses for strenuous hours, it can be
Right.
tiring and having to move and rotate and go in different positions for the photographer. What's running through your mind mentally? Because we touched on mental health. My lineup
Right.
this entire week has been all men. So we talked about mental health and certain things. For you as a model, what runs through your mind mentally? Like, do you have your days where it's just like, wow, I'm not here.
Oh
I
yeah.
need to get back in tune with myself.
I've been in situations like that where in which I've been in predicaments where in which I just wasn't, I mentally, like, I would mentally check out, and not because of it's always because of something. You know what I mean? Whether I'm even, it could be, a plethora of different things. Whether I'm not feeling, the shoot itself, or I'm overthinking it, because sometimes you can overthink it. Pardon me, you can overthink it because it could be something where which, okay, well, maybe what am I? I'm not doing a good job. Um, what they're asking for, you're not delivering, or you're not comfortable in your own physical state. You know what I'm saying? And I've been there several times. But if I'm there to perform a job and a task, regardless of that mental state, I have to get it done. You know what I mean? I don't want to waste anyone's time. I definitely don't want to waste the photographer's time or the casting person's time. Damn sure my time. So I make sure I get it done. I make sure I have to, whether it's fake it to make it, or just have to deal with it. And then afterwards, it's like, wow. But then what I normally do afterwards, when if that were to happen, is sort of just, go over things in my head. Ask myself questions like, well, why did this happen? Could I have done something better? Could I have done something different? Sometimes even speaking to photographers, saying, listen, I don't know what was going through my head. I apologize, and I've never had an issue with someone saying, well, oh no, you mentally checked out. I don't want to work with you again, because it's important to have communication. And again, people don't do that sometimes. They don't want to have any type of dialogue. It's like a thing in which, oh yeah, well, he didn't notice. You sure? Um, but I think it's important to do that, because we're all human. We're going to have days in which we're not going to feel our best or look our best, or just go through a point in your head when which it's not working for whatever reason. But without that dialogue or communication, just at least to elaborate on it, um, one, the problem can't be fixed, but two, you can't get better. You know what I'm saying? And I always want to figure out, if I'm going through something, why did I go through it, and make sure that it won't happen again. Or if it does happen again, I'm going to handle it completely different.
Absolutely. And how do you protect your piece before doing a photo shoot to get in tune before actually getting shot the photo shoot?
Wait, how do I say that one more time? I'm sorry.
How do you prepare and get yourself
Oh,
mentally there for it?
I'm always, um, and I tell people this, and they always like laugh. I still get excited to this day, for every shoot that I have. 11 years later, going on 12 years actually. I still do because again, this is something that I never thought out that I would be able to do or that I could do. Because I always doubted myself and put myself up against someone else, or looked at someone else saying, "Oh, they look like this and I don't." And I always go. It's always a mental process. I have to always mentally think about the shoot, how I'm going to pose, what I'm going to wear, if I'm going to wear anything. But just get in the head. But it's crazy because now it's not as intense because I think I'm well seasoned enough to go to set and just do. I used to get nervous when a photographer would tell me, you know, they would ask me just to, okay, well, just, do you. And in the beginning, I used to sit there and be like, huh? No, you're supposed to tell me what to do. And I'm like, wait a minute, no, we can't. I have to practice. I can't rest on, okay, well, everyone telling me how to pose and how to stand and how to look and find your light. Like you have to know your light. Like I have to know my angles and know what's my best side and what's my bad side. Know if I'm looking a certain way on one particular side, how can I mask that without the photographer having to Photoshop every single thing? So I've learned how to do what I got to do. I know how to pose. I know what's my best side. I know how to find my light. Sometimes, people don't understand that, us light skinned brothers, we can get drowned out by the light. And sometimes too much light is not always good light. If you're in the sunlight, how you going to, what that does to your body. How do you get the sun, but also get that shadow from the sun? You know what I'm saying? So there's many different tricks of the trade that I learned, but I've learned that by working with a plethora of different people. Every photographer has their own mindset. They have their own aesthetic. They have their own look. They have their own creativity. And I've learned, and I always bring something home from every last person that I work with. And it just you put that into one bubble, and that's what you do. I've done shoots where in which I was the focal point for like a photographer had booked me because he was running a class on lighting and how to capture models in different light. So he booked like maybe one guy and like 20 female models, and I was the chosen guy that he booked, and I was able to shoot with like over 30 photographers who were practicing on me. It was nicely paid, by the way, but it was such a learning experience for me because you have all these different photographers giving you different pointers, and that's education for me. It's not like some people wouldn't even take it as education. I do. That's a learning experience because you never know when that's going to come in handy. You never know. And then you have to know how to utilize that for your own benefit, for your own work. Like when I wanted to put out my book, I was very particular as to who I wanted to work with, or if I did want to work with anyone, was I going to do a book up, using my own phone? Was I going to choose one photographer? Was I going to choose 1,500 photographers? I chose someone that we just had, we had a great bond, and I have a great bond with so many photographers, but I told this one person, they just, when my mind, I don't need to think about things for 1,500 years. If I always go off of a split second and a whim. That I'm an Aquarius. That's what we do, I guess. But I chose someone. It came into my head one day, and I'm like, yep, that's the person. Why overthink it? Why, add more fuel to my head and get scattered? If it feels right, it's right. And I tell people the same thing, but I always put myself through a mental process of I get nervous prior, but I always have to stay focused and stay grounded. Like at the end of the day, Dion, you got this. You know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like you're good. And it's like that pep talk. That like I'm my own cheerleader. Like I tell myself, you know, because we all go through uh, uh, a nerve wracking experience. Even someone who's an actor who's been acting for 15,000 years, I'm pretty sure they go through still get nerves and jitters or doubt themselves and stuff like that. You have to go through a process of fighting that real quick, and then when you're on set, time to perform. There's no other, it's time to go. So every time I get to set, it's always time to go. So I'm always ready, regardless. I don't need any type of quick grooming prior. Like I make sure I handle that before I get there.
Absolutely. And I see some familiar faces coming in, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with model Dion Whitt or D Whitt, ladies and
Hmm.
gentlemen. I see so many photographers. And I see my girl, shout out to my girl, Tina Marie. She just dropped a new video. For all of my fragrance lovers, you guys know that I'm a fragrance lover. So I want to give a shout outs to my girl Tina Marie. Y'all, please go and subscribe to her channel. Y'all tag her in the comments. There she is, TMR, True Meaning of Radiance 2886. And we did a collab together. So you guys can head on over and subscribe to Tina Marie, True Meaning of Radiance on YouTube. Now tomorrow at 6:30, I see Jay Evans and K Tooks is here. Head on over and subscribe to Jay Evans. Definitely go and subscribe to his channel. He's interviewed a lot of musical artists, some that you might know from current areas of hip hop in the 90s. And we're going to be doing a panel tomorrow on the best R&B albums at 6:30. So
Ooh.
tune in tomorrow. It's going to have a 90s feel to it. We're going to be going back in time talking about all of our favorite albums. And my brother K Tooks as well too. Subscribe to his channel, the K Tooks Spot. Happy birthday, Sherrod. I see all of you guys are coming in. Yes. And my girl Tina says, I need to be modeling. I see V Brown, actor, singer. Giving shout outs to everybody. Shout outs to my makeup artist, Melanie Nalamai Bridges, as well too, for making sure that we are right. I hope I didn't miss any comments. We are here with Whitt, so we're going to take some questions from the audience. So before we allow the audience to type into our to type their questions and everything, my next question for you is, what is your skincare regimen? Because the skin is given in every single one of your
Oh, stop.
photos.
Stop it.
Yes. What is
um,
your skincare regimen?
uh, Life? No, no, no. I definitely use wash my face at night. I don't use any types of soap. I have very sensitive skin. I actually have a sun allergy. I'm allergic. I was in DR a few years ago and I had a bad reaction to the sun. I
Yeah.
had to go to the hospital in DR. I was scared as hell. I mean, I had a horrible rash like on my face and like on my arms, and they ran tests in DR and they said that I had a sun allergy, which I'm allergic to the sun. I can't take the sun in high doses. And then I'm like, yeah, whatever, that's bullshit. Like, what? They gave me antibiotics. It went away, but I said when I come back to the States, I'm gonna go back to my primary care physician, which I did. Told me the same thing. So I have to use anything with oatmeal and aloe. So the best, of course, that African black soap is phenomenal. But
Yeah.
I use a grapefruit scrub, which I live by. It's great for my skin. I use that before I shave. I shave maybe twice a week. So I use that before I shave. I use it after I shave. Um, Hot water on my face is a blessing. I drink hella water. I use scrubs. I use black clay masks, which I love. Yes, I'm really skincare is very important, of course, because of even if I wasn't doing what I'm doing, your skin is still important. My mother taught me well. Even when I was a kid, my mother used to douse Vaseline on my face, like as if I was some type of freaking. She was about to fry me in the pot. I don't know, but she always used to have my hair greased and my skin shiny, like it became innate to me when you moisturize your skin, like that's what you
Yeah.
do, and I've been doing that ever since. Not with the Vaseline, no, I can't do that, but any type. And then I'll use I have this serum by Garnier, which is phenomenal. It's a
Mm.
moisturizer for my face. I use that, and in the summertime I have to use a high-induced Aveeno SPF sunblock because if not, the sun will break me out all around here,
Yeah.
and yeah. But
And
it's
for
part of
us,
life. What else am I gonna do?
yes, and I'm gonna touch on that too. For us as people of color, we have to stay, with SPF and lots
Yeah,
of water, especially during the summer months. Now, around this time, you'll be exfoliating all that stuff. Like I love body scrubs, so
I do that.
definitely make sure that you are drinking lots of water and using sunscreen as well. For us as people
Absolutely.
of color, that is a must. So I'm glad you touched on that. All right. So, do we have any questions, Fashion Dolls, for Dion or myself? This is such a great interview, and I hope you guys are taking something from this because we touched on a number of things. We talked body image, we talked mental health, we touched on a number of things in case you guys missed it. So, if you're just coming in, if you guys have any questions, you can type them in the bubble or you can type them in the comment section, whatever works for you. But it's so great to have you here because people that are looking to get into the modeling industry will know kind of what to expect and what to foreshadow what they're looking forward to in this industry because it is definitely a lot. And you have
Hmm.
to be mentally there to get into the modeling world. A question for
Absolutely.
you is, what's a highlight in your modeling career?
Oh wow. Wow, that's a good one. I would, I mean, to me, it's a good one, but it's always an easy one. I think my first experience, you know, uh, I had a photo shoot. Um, a friend of mine wanted me to model in their client's tattoo magazine. And he saw that I had like one tattoo at the time, and I'm like, "He wants me? Like, I'm not like tatted like that." So I said, "Sure, I'll do it." And after that photo shoot, I've never felt that feeling of it. I can't even describe it because it was something where which it said I have to continue doing this. I didn't know how. I didn't know, and this is back when online wasn't. It just started to
Yeah.
become something. This is pre Instagram and pre this where in which there was a place that I went to go get information about modeling. It was called Model Mart. It was down on 42nd Street, and it was like a place where which I was able to get like a booklet that had agency numbers, contact information, and everything. It was like a networking book, and I didn't know what to do. I had asked people that I knew that were like in like SWV videos, hip hop videos, and I'm like, wait a minute, they modeling the videos. I know I could do that. And then like, oh yeah, sure, we'll let our agent know about you, and this, that, and the third. And of course, they didn't do that, which I expect because I know how certain people can be, especially certain dudes. So I'm from the hood, so a leopard don't change their spots in no way, shape, or form. But all that did was sort of make me hungry even more. And I said, well, at the end of the day, I don't need no one to show me what I have to do. If I'm going to do it, whether trial and error. But I think that's a highlight only because that one shoot made it ignited a fire in me that was
Yeah.
unstoppable. And I said through hell or high water, I don't know how I'm going to make it happen. I don't know who to contact. I didn't know anything. All I knew is I wanted to do it, and I did it. So I think that will all time that for all time that would be like my biggest highlight.
Oh, we've got two more questions. Jake Evans wants to know what is your favorite modeling job so far, and V Brown wants to know do male models get catty behind the scenes?
Um, I'll answer the second one first because it's quicker. Do male models caddy? Absolutely. Um, it's I've seen it. I've never been involved in it because I have no time for the bullshit. And if I smell bullshit, I'm out the door or I'm out the way. But I've seen people, whether they throw shade, they try to block, people's from getting certain things or whatever. And I think people have used that who I know type of thing. Well, I know this person, I know that person, so I can make this happen. And it's tacky because it oh, karma's a bitch, right? So that's how I look at it. But I've seen dudes be very tacky in so many different ways, and even dudes that I would never like aesthetically, people would never expect that, right? Because they would only
Yeah.
expect that from a certain type of person, if that makes any sense. And I think that's whack too, because yeah, don't get tricked. There's dudes out there that you would look at him, oh yeah, this straight dude, he's not going to be cat like that. Okay, that may be the cattiest one. So I've seen it from them all, and again, I just try to stay as grounded as possible and let none of that affect me because I don't get down like that. I'm a humble ass dude, and at the end of the day, I'm always trying to uplift somebody else rather than put anyone else down in any fashion. So, what was the other question again? I'm
What was
sorry.
your favorite modeling job so far? And that's from Jake
Oh wow.
Evans.
Um, I think doing my book, coming out with my lookbook, and again, who doesn't want to make money and make something lucrative out of what they do? I'll be a fool to say no, but that wasn't my ultimate goal. I think to put out something that I controlled, something that I had every say so in, guided by me, produced by me, sponsored by me, my aesthetic, my creativity, my version, my words, my everything. Especially on something that, and I didn't create something in which I took pictures from, years past. I wanted to do like a storybook through pictures type of thing, where which I wanted to develop like 7 chapters because that's my lucky number 7. And yeah, anything odd is to me the favorite because people think odd is bad, but I think odd is good. So at any rate, I wanted to do something based on like on an oddity. I named one of my chapters Solace and Concealed, and that's going to be the name of my written book that I want to have out hopefully by next year, God willing. Um, and Solace Concealed basically is all about like my eating disorder. I sought comfort in something, but I try to hide it. So hence the solace, hence the concealed. So I think that's my greatest and ultimate highlight is that I actually, and I did it myself, and even published it myself. Because nowadays with the internet, you can publish stuff via the blurb and stuff like that. I'll post a picture, but for me to publish it myself, I was extremely elated because I'm like, wow, I did it. I didn't ask no one to help me. Like I did this shit myself. So that's the ultimate highlight. I don't think I think that always will be the ultimate highlight because I really felt proud of seeing something that I created. I can go to a photo shoot and most of the photo shoots, of course, is inspired by that particular photographer, let's say, right? Even if you pay for a photo shoot, it's always about, it's always a two-way street. But this was something that I had the ownership of, and I controlled the vision of it, and I think that's what for me as a person and for everything that I went through, I think that was such an amazing experience that I don't think I could ever live down. Thank you for that
And
question, by the way, and thank you for every other question, guys. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you.
and you got so much support. I've seen so many photographers come in and say how awesome you were, how real you were,
Thank you.
how just straight to the point you are, and we love that about you as well too.
Thank
The
you
whole
so much.
myself and the rest of the audience as well too. The other content creators that are here, just your transparency about what goes on in the modeling industry. And you talked about eating disorder. That's
Yes.
another thing that goes on in the modeling world. Like I said this, and when I did my interview with Angelique Bates, from the hit show All That on Nickelodeon, you guys
Wow.
remember, we talked about body image as well too. We touched on colorism and
Hmm.
body image and how models will literally starve themselves to be a
Yeah.
perfect size because back in the day you couldn't be a size 18 and up.
Right.
They wanted you to be stick thin, and it's just like now the modeling world has changed so much with
Drastically.
models like Precious Lee, Winnie Harlow. We never seen a model that looked like her back in the day, and
Right.
so many others. It's
But you know
changed.
something? I think and I think that's a blessing. I think, but for women, it changed so much more. I think the male models,
Yeah,
there's so much hidden stuff behind closed door that's not spoken about the way in which I think it should be because coming from a model like me, of course I get typecasted because most people want to shoot somebody who physically has a physique, let's say, right? And
yes,
you go to shoots and hear other dudes sit there and like sort of knock themselves down and to the fact that, oh, I don't have a body like yours. I don't have a body like yours. Like you must not eat this, down the third. And just hearing that, I don't have a body like yours, to me speaks volumes because I was that guy. I was that. And not saying that they have an issue, but I'm just saying if you say things more than once, you say it consistently, and you're always touching on it every time, we're shooting, it's like, dude, like, what's good? You know what I'm saying? And it's sad because it's not put to the forefront. You know what I'm saying? People don't talk about it a lot. Which,
yeah,
granted, there's certain things that you have photographers that only want to shoot muscular men. That's their business. Doesn't mean that they're body shaming anyone. It gets to a lot of dudes' heads because there is still a lot. I think men, we body shame ourselves more than we body shame someone else. If that makes sense, you know what I'm saying? We body shame ourselves because we always think we're not good enough, we're not big enough, we're not fit enough, we're not this, we're not that. I think that for a lot of men, male models, that's a very strong issue that it's so transparent because we put ourselves down a lot that we're not X, Y, and Z, as opposed to putting someone else down, which happens. But I think the inner body shame, it's so prevalent still with men that, will it ever be fixed? I would hope so, but it's still going to be around. I just think it should be more tamed. I think there should be more uplift. You have more women now who are, out there. I mean, you have Lizzo, you have all these artists that
yeah,
are bigger and so popular, and they do the reverse type of uh, uh, um, body issue things. Now if Lizzo was 50 pounds lighter, would she be as popular? Is she popular? Does she have to stay that weight to make people feel comfortable? You know what I'm saying? So it's a different, it's a weird warped industry that's always evolving in so many different ways. But I know us men, there's so many hidden things that it's not brought to the forefront. You know, I listen. I know so many dudes who suffer from body dysmorphia that it's not funny at all. You know, how many guys are going to sit there and come and talk about that they have an eating disorder, that they were a male anorexic, or they were male bulimic? You're not going to, not saying it's not going to happen or it doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen as frequent. And I've seen it behind closed doors. I've seen it at shows. I've seen it being spoken about. And I'm like, wow, this is, it's not, it's scary. I was that dude. I was that dude who sat there and didn't eat at all because if I thought if I had a potato chip that I'm going to get fat. I thought fat was bad. I thought that if I do that, I'm not going to be good enough. I valued my self-worth based off of food. It's sad. And I did, you know what I'm saying? And I still struggle with that shit. You know, I still go to, you know, shoots like, damn, I shouldn't have eaten what I ate. I should have trained harder. And then I have to wake up quickly and say, chill, dude, chill. And it's hard. It's never going to get easy for me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no, it gets easier, but it's still there. And it's something that I fight. And when I tell people this, and they're like, yeah, but you model. They don't get it. They do not get it. This is my therapy. This is helping me this has helped me fight that fight. If I don't put myself on the forefront, if I don't expose myself in front of the biggest population that's going to judge you and going to critique you, how am I going to be healed? Me sitting down talking to someone that I don't know, that could help. But to me, this is more healing than anything else because I'm literally saying, okay, you have an issue. And I'm putting it out there without saying it. If you know what I'm saying? The way I've thought about it, the way I think about it, it helped me so much that I never knew that what I was doing helped me until I had to sit back and really analyze what I was doing and why I was doing what I'm doing. That's the only way I was going to be able to go further and push myself and actually progress if I don't sit back and analyze. Okay, I'm doing this because why? I did those photo shoots. What's good? Like, what's going to happen? Like I'm moving this way. Why? How I'm going to move next? Do I want to continue moving in this path? Do I want to continue moving in a different path? So in doing that, I realized, wait a minute, but I posed nude. Why? When I couldn't even take my clothes off in front of my and look at myself in the mirror 2 years ago, and now I'm posing nude in front of like 30 people. That's what's up with that. And then when I had to really get in my head and really think about that, I'm like, wow. And how did you feel, Dion, after you did that? You know what I'm saying? Like all those thoughts, I was my own therapist, ironically. I still am my own fucking therapist. Like, shit, I need to check for that now. Stop.
Well, we got another question from you from D. Brown, actor singer. He says, have you ever fell on the runway or something embarrassing? And if so, how would you handle it?
I never fell, but I did like sort of shuffle a little bit. And I was like in my head I was nervous as hell because I know it was like noticeable that I sort of I did that, and also I think I went back through the wrong door, and I was trying to like move a curtain and there was like no door there. And I felt like a doofus, but kept it moving. I mean, I think in those moments there's nothing you can really do other than just get up and keep it moving. You got to keep it trucking because if you make it a scene or make it something, it's only going to stunt your next performance. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to get booked I'm trying to be booked and busy. I'm not trying to make it hot. And it's, granted, if somebody would have noticed it and say, hey, you almost stumbled. Okay, yeah, I did, but I got back up and kept walking.
And it happened to so many models
of
where
course.
a shoe is broke, a heel is broke, and they would literally, it was Gigi Hadid. She walked, and I think it was during Paris Fashion Week last month. A shoe broke, and I seen this girl literally walk the runway, put her foot like she's wearing a high heel. She didn't have on no shoe or nothing, and the shoe was just laid out on the runway. She kept walking. So
you damn right.
Yeah, it's a whole. You got
keep it moving.
Everybody, they catching me everywhere. So you have no choice but to keep going in that moment. Exactly.
Absolutely.
All right, Fashion Dolls, it is time for our games with Dion. The first one is called the Rapid Five. And Dion has to tell us 5 things that he can't live without. And the next one, this is where my guests get to ask me questions, as many as they want, and it's called Turn the Table. So we're going to start with the Rapid Five. What are 5 things that Dion can't live without?
Oh, you asking me or that's I'm sorry.
Yes, what are 5 things that
Oh
you
my
do
God.
daily?
Wow. My glasses.
Okay.
Um, uh, oh my God. I just have, music,
Mm.
headphones, tunes. There's no way I can't live without that. Ironically, porn.
Okay.
Keep it 100 with you, okay? Um, the gym. There's no way I can live without the gym. I have a home gym set up in my house. Amazing, great, yeah, but I need the gym. Something about, being outside of my house because, that's my comfort zone. I need to be out and about, but I need to be in a center where which it's flooded just with that alone. And
Yes.
and other people doing it, other people doing their thing. It's the vibe, it's the environment, it's all of that. That also keeps me going. That's what, three, four? I
That's
think
4.
four, right? Um, and a damn sure good cheeseburger.
Okay. So you have your cheat days. I've heard models talk about they
Days,
go
yeah,
work on
days
cheat.
plural.
Yeah.
Yes, I have more than one. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, fashion dolls. There it is in real time. He told you his favorite things. Those are Dion's top 5 favorite things that he can't live without. Now it's time for me to get put in the hot seat. This is where my guests get to ask me as many questions as they want to. So I have no clue what Dion he is going to ask me. My heart is beating very fast right now. So I'm going to pass him the torch and he's going to ask me some questions. So take it
Hmm.
away.
What made you get into the business?
What made me get into hosting and doing this platform
Mm-hmm.
here is I love to talk. And my mom, as some of my school teachers would be like, she talks way too much. She's always talking, and I would get in trouble. Who hasn't gotten in trouble in the
Right.
class and stuff like that? So I said at a young age, because I would line up all the perm boxes, the hair relaxer boxes, and I grabbed the microphone and I said, okay, I'm either going to be one of those girls on that box or I'm going to be interviewing one of those girls on that box. So I said, I'm
Holla.
going to host the talk show. So that's kind of where it started because when we're young, it's just like what we line the dolls and stuff up and we grab the microphone and we want to sing, we want to be a singer or whatever your career passion dream is, we just know. So at that young age, I said, let me host a talk show. So in 2014, I want to say after I graduated high school and everything, I said, what's going to be the next plan? Because our parents, and I'm pretty sure your mom is giving you to talk to. Well, all of our moms. They asked, what's going to be your next move? Are you going to go to college or are you going to go to work? I went to beauty school and I got my license. And after that, I say, what am I going to do? Because I love fashion, I love entertainment, I love all of these things that make people happy and bring them joy. So that's kind of
Right.
how Style by Stevie was formed. And we would do the show at 11 o'clock every day. And it would just be me
Wow.
talking about pop culture and things. And to see where we were then, right after high school when we started, to now, 2022 is just like a full 360. And it's so crazy. So, yeah.
That's so dope. And what would be what if if any? What is your end result? Like, or what is your end goal?
I would love to have my own production company and it will be able to produce content for other Black filmmakers, directors, and models such as yourself because we know that the spaces out here and the resources are now coming out, but they're very limited in certain areas
Absolutely.
to Black filmmakers, directors, producers, up and coming artists, especially, and they don't get the shine that they so gratefully deserve. So that's basically kind of why I built Style by Stevie to have like that 106 in Park type feel where
Right.
musical artists can come on, perform, and talk about their projects, or models such as yourself can come and talk about their books or their skincare regimens, whatever. I just want people to get entertainment, laughter, joy, some sex appeal, all of that and so much more wrapped into one. So yeah,
I love that. And is there a particular dream guest that you would have in mind that you would always or fantasize about having or interviewing in any type of capacity?
I would have to say Taraji P. Henson, and I feel like
Oh,
our personalities would click instantly because I'm a Scorpio. I'm not sure what her zodiac sign is, but her personality
oh, your
is
birthday's coming up.
everything. Yes, and I've heard stories. I've interviewed an actor that has worked with her, and he said while she was on set, the wig came off, and y'all you saw the cornrows and everything, and she was just so down to earth. So I said, "Oh yeah, I want to interview her. I would love to interview her. I feel like our personalities, it would just be a fire, and we would have such a good time."
That is so dope. That is so dope. Yeah, those are my three main ones that I wanted to ask you.
All right, Fashion Dolls. Thank you, Misha. Misha says that's a great question. Thank you for tuning in, my love.
Thank you.
Do we have any more questions for Dion or myself? This was such a great interview. Again, we touched on a number of things in case you guys missed it. We touched on body image. We touched on mental health, which are things that models go through in this
Absolutely.
industry. And hearing stories from so many others, like Kate Moss, and how looking at magazines and, oh, well, the model starved herself to fit in this perfect size. And it's just like,
Right.
wait, what is the perfect body? We have to ask our question that, because we're now in the day and age of body positivity, which I'm so thankful for. Like people like you've mentioned, Lizzo, and so many others who are out here just saying, you know what, this is me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
embracing it. I'm embracing it. This is me. I take off everything and I look at myself in the mirror and I love every one of my curves. So
Absolutely.
there's so many people who struggle with body image out here in real time. And I'm thankful for companies like Victoria's Secret for changing the image.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh, who hasn't watched the Victoria's Secret fashion show? Yes, the
Of course.
models are gorgeous, but
Well, look at
turn
Fenty.
around, yes, you would look at the show on CBS, the Victoria's Secret fashion show,
Mm-hmm.
and watch the models come down with the huge, gigantic wings and everything. They totally changed the image of what it's supposed to look like. And now they're saying, you know what, we don't want the angels anymore. We're going to
Right.
showcase models of every body type. And what would make it so
Absolutely.
different if they have a trans supermodel as an angel? That's what we need. We need more representation, and representation is key in the fashion world. We got a question for you, and that is, what is your end goal in modeling and photography?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sort of working on that. I actually definitely want to sort of give back. And my way of doing that is, like I said, I didn't have no one put me on or, give me a jump start or head start. Grant, like I said, I was in, a tattoo magazine. I get paid for it. I've done headshots prior to that, but something about, you know, having a photo shoot and at that particular moment of my life sort of ignited that fire. But I definitely want to at some point open up my own management agency and sort
Oh,
of but not just of course the one of the main goals would be to get models gigs and shoots and stuff like that, develop their catalog, but I wanted to also have it develop them mentally as well, and provide some type of mental awareness for them, because this industry can eat you up and spit you out, as so many of us know. And we're not, a lot of people are not prepared for, like, dealing with rejection. What happens when you go to a casting and you are so in your head, yeah, I got this, I'm right for the part, like there's no way I can't get it, because that's what you have to hype yourself
yeah.
up, and then that phone don't ring. That's not an easy, I've been there, that's not an easy process for anyone to deal with, and this, I'm not saying there's no agents out there that don't help to that extent, but I want to be that agent that it's not just a one-time conversation. Like, we're going to develop the person, and not just develop them aesthetically, but we want to develop them mentally and provide whatever we can in terms of making a well-rounded person deal with what this industry is going to be able to throw at you. So that's my biggest goal. Of course, I want to have an underwear line. I want to have a fitness line. So those are three things that I want to make happen. That, not even say want to, I'm going to make happen. I got to start speaking things into existence, because that's what we do.
Manifestation. That's
There you
right.
go.
And we're a quarter of a half at the end of this year, 2022, going into 2023. That was going to be my last question for you. I was saving that one, which is, what are some things that you're manifesting? But you've
Right.
already answered it. And we got another question from you from Faison Gray. He wants to know, do you think the
Oh, my
term
buddy, what's up, Faison?
model is overly used nowadays? And what makes a model an actual model in today's industry?
Ooh, that, wow. You got me there, brother. What, something? I think someone who takes their craft seriously. And I
Mm,
know, again, I've seen dudes, and I've seen women. I'm going to call a spade a spade. I don't name drop, because that's not my style in no way, shape, or form. But I've seen people come to set, whether it's a shoot or casting or even book the gig, just not ready, and not ready physically, but also not ready mentally. And I've always learned, you always, even if you finish the shoot, or if you didn't make something, you always lead off, or end it with, you'll send a thank you email, you'll send a thank you text. You know what I'm saying. You always check up on that person. Let's say a month or two down the line. But it's also called being business savvy. I think people don't understand. You have to be business savvy. People rest on thinking they got it like that, and oh yeah, the phone's going to ring without them actually lifting their finger to dial something. You have to put your work in, and I think part of it is being business savvy. You have to always know what you want to do, and how to do it. And I don't think a lot of people know how to do that. I come from a business-minded family, and I think it's sort of innate in me on how to be courteous, number one, but how to be professional. And I've seen a lot of people not have those qualities whatsoever. And I've seen people who don't have those qualities make it, or bigger than I am. And I don't even consider myself big in no way, shape, or form. I consider myself a dude that's doing what he loves to do. Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? My version of being big and popular has nothing to do with, fame and fortune. My way of thinking that I'm big and popular is saying, something, I've been doing something consistently and I'm still doing it. And anyone that they can ask that I've worked with can sit there and say, I would love to work with him again. So to me, that's being big, not how my pockets are defined in no way, shape, or form. But I think people need to be, in order to have sustainability in this particular industry, you have to sort of have certain qualities that's already innate to you. And if you don't have them already pre-born, then you need to learn them in 2 seconds.
Absolutely. Getting into this business is about literally humbling yourself because you have some people, oh, I'm the best, this, that, and the
Hmm.
third in the model industry, and it becomes so divisive where it's like, no, we're both in this for the same thing. We're doing what we need to do on either end. Don't get
Right.
into this business for the wrong reasons. And that's what my mom, she told me. She said, if you're going to do this, if you're going to host a platform, never forget who got you here, and that's God. God has put you here in this place, in this
And he
position.
could take you out of it.
So yes, humble you real quick. She told me that. And
Absolutely.
now seeing it in full circle in reality is true. So please do not get in this business and become so alienating and lose sight of who you are because it is so easy to get wrapped up so deep, going down the
Right.
drain. Like,
And
please
it could
don't.
spit you out. It could spit you out.
It's
It's,
a
it's,
dog
it,
eat dog industry.
you're damn right.
So I hope you guys all took something from this conversation. Are there any last minute questions for myself or Dion? Dion, you are a breath of fresh air.
Oh, you're
Looking
you're
at the
being too kind. Thank
photography,
you. Thank you.
it's beautiful. And seeing the man behind the pictures, you give us these beautiful, tasteful, sensual, high fashion images. And then being able to sit here and have a conversation with you real time to find out who is the man behind the pictures? Who is
Right.
this
Thank you.
beautiful man in these pictures? Let's find out what's in his mind, his thoughts, everything in real time. And it's
Thank you
your
so much.
transparency is everything. You're so wonderful.
Well, you haven't seen nothing yet. No, I'm joking. Let me stop. No, I'm being serious. No,
Fashion dog. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to thank you. I think what you're doing is magnificent. I love your platform. I love I love anyone that will consider me even being a part of this. So I am ultimately grateful to you. I thank you very much. I want you to continue doing your thing, and if anything, you want to do it bigger and better. So I only wish greatness for you. And I thank you so much, and I thank everyone who's joined. You guys could be doing so many other things with your time. I thank you so much. Part of my background, I'm at my day job. I actually work with high school students. I actually employ. I just hired about 64 high school students the other day.
Really?
Yeah. So I run a student employment program by day, in the South Bronx, which is amazing. So it's a lot, but something, these kids need it, and they definitely need more strong male role models in their life, especially these
Yeah.
young boys and even these girls too, in so many different ways. And I'm glad that I'm able to provide that, not just give them a job, but also teach them about career development and job readiness goes a long freaking way. So it's good. Like I said, it's good to be able to do this and then go pose, rock out with my, out when I need to. It's because I find that to be a dope ass balance. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's like I said, I like doing things when, yes, I do this, but I also do that, and I also do this, and I also do that. it's going to be well rounded in this type of capacity. Let's say.
in real time. And I agree with what you said. So shout outs to you. Keep doing what you're doing, which is
Thank
helping
you,
the youth.
thank you.
Because I was gonna touch on that too, with you working with the kids and everything. Like they do need somebody. In this day and
Hmm.
age, we need more arts and crafts
Oh yeah.
programs. Like everybody's looking to get into this business. It's not easy. So it's sort of prepping you for what you can get into to it,
Hmm.
what you can expect, the foreshadowing coming in this
So I
business. We need more
and
programs.
I have some dope students that and they want to model. Like they know what I do. I'm very transparent with them to a point, but I'm very transparent in terms of they're like damn I would they see some of my pictures and they're like I would love to do that. And I have a lot of students that have style and they have great fantastic looks and I'm like hmm. So next year I'm planning like a gigantic fashion show for the spring. And actually bringing in a photographer to take some pictures of my students, like outside of school, of course. But all like I'm trying to put together a nice commercial lookbook for them. I think it's going to be something dope, and it's going to sort of light that fire under their ass.
Yes, and get them prepared in this industry and with your skill, your mindset, everything from experience, they will learn it in no time.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I was put here for a reason, so I, that's how I look at it.
Yeah, and you have a purpose. We all have a purpose. So I'm gonna let you close out this interview. Misha says, love both of you guys' energy.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
so
you so
much.
much.
I'm gonna let you close it out with the gems because you spoke today with such transparency and such
Thank you.
passion and such fire. And even I felt it because both of our souls just connected throughout
Yes,
this
I
interview.
agree.
So, what are some words of encouragement that you would love to give to people that are looking to get into the fashion industry or the modeling industry or photography?
Um, I think the biggest one would be 1 second. If my black ass can do it, so can you. No, but do everything. Be intentional with everything you do. I think intentionality is uber important. And I had a professor tell me this. He used that word. I'm. It's all about being subtle. A lot of things don't. It doesn't have to take a lot of pomp and circumstance. People do sometimes too much, and sometimes too much is damn sure too much. But be intentional with everything you do. Have your purpose, and don't let not one single person stop you at all. There's going to be no's every single day of your life. There's still no's in my damn life. Does that stop me? Nope. If anything, it makes me even hungry for more. It makes me hungrier, if that's even a word, to want to continue to pursue what I'm pursuing or pursue something greater.
Absolutely. And even we kind of talked on that, touched on that as well too. The power of no's. I've had doors closed in my face. I've had people say no. It could be no, not at this moment, not at this
Right.
time. But there's always something better in the works. You just have to keep
Absolutely.
pushing, keep going for what you believe in. Trust me, it's not easy. But the key
Hmm.
thing is to keep going, remind, and have a small circle about
Right.
a good circle of people you trust. And I'm thankful for that. So definitely.
Thank you. Thank you for that. That's so true.
You are so welcome. So let everyone know where they can follow you and check out this gorgeous, sensual, mysterious photography.
Yes, well, for guys that don't follow my IG, I'm on Instagram at D33WHITT. I have actually two modeling pages. Then I have another implied one. It's D33 implied. You can follow me there. I think Instagram is for. I think I use that platform the most. For like all of my modeling stuff. Facebook I'm on, but if anything, Instagram is where you'll find the majority of my contact, and I'm definitely current, and I stay in the know, and I stay relevant as much as possible.
All right, fashion dolls, the one and only Mr. D. Witt. Joining me tomorrow, ladies and
Thank you.
gentlemen, we have another model, actor, artist from the hit show Law and Order. We have Antino Crawley Common Wadi. He will be here tomorrow. And also the panel with Jay Evans and K Teeks at 6:30. I love you all, fashion dolls. Friday, also, we have the one and only, the man who is responsible for some of the most incredible women in dressing them fashion wise, and he has his own clothing collection. The man who's responsible for Janet Jackson and so many others, Wayne Scott,
Ooh,
the icon himself, will be here Friday. So make sure you guys tune in. A great lineup this week, and I love you all. And please be safe, you guys. Take
thank you, Stevie. Bye, guys.
care.
Thank you.
Take care.